Hey guys, this is Stacy from eatthebite.com, and today I'm making pineapple pork butt bowl with coconut ginger rice. Let me show you how to make it. We'll start with the marinade. I've got 3 large cloves of garlic, and I'm going to slice those into thin rounds that look about like this. Next, I'll peel some ginger, and then I'm going to go ahead and grate that on my microplane, and I'll add that to the garlic bowl. After that, we'll add soy sauce, vinegar, and I've got 2 6-ounce cans of Dole pineapple juice here. I'm going to go ahead and add both of those to the marinade, along with some olive oil, salt, pepper, a little bit of honey, brown sugar, and then we're going to whisk all the ingredients together until they're well combined. Now we've got to cut our boneless pork butt. It was on sale for $2.49 a pound, and the smallest one I could get was a little over 4 pounds. I started by cutting it in half, then slicing off 1-inch slabs to make it easier to cut into bite-sized pieces. We're going to cut it into strips and then cubes like you see here. And they should look about like this. You want to make sure that they're all approximately the same size. And don't forget to have your kitchen shears ready to trim fat along the way. Some pork butts can be pretty fatty. I'm going to give the marinade one final stir here, and then we're just going to add all the pork right into it. After that, push the pork down and give it a good forking. We're going to marinate this overnight covered in the fridge, and you can use a lid like this or cover it in plastic wrap. The next day, it's time for a little more prep. I'll start with my scallions. I'm going to cut them into longer pieces like you see here, and then I'll just set those aside in a small bowl for now. Then I'll dice some smaller scallions that I'm going to add to the rice later. I'll set both my scallions aside for now. I'm also chopping some cilantro for this, which I'll use later for a garnish, and this is optional. I'm going to peel a little more ginger, which I'll grate down fine. We're going to need some for the rice and some for the stir fry when we cook it. Next, we'll need to finely chop a little more garlic, and I'll mix that in with the ginger for the stir fry. After that, we'll need 1 medium to large onion, and we're just going to cut that into chunks and break apart the larger pieces like you see here. I've got my very well rinsed basmati rice here, and I'm going to add to that some coconut milk and some chicken broth, or you can use water, and salt. We're going to bring this to a boil, then we're going to cover the pot, reduce the heat, and let it steam for 15 minutes. In the meantime, I've got a can of pineapple slices, and I'm going to dice these down into bits that we're going to put on top of the stir fry later. You can use already diced pineapple, but I had these on hand, so I used them. I'm going to mix a little cornstarch and water together to make a slurry, which is going to help thicken the sauce for the stir fry. To the slurry, I'm going to add some soy sauce and the reserved pineapple juice from the can. We're going to give it just a little mix here. Let's take a look at all our ingredients. We've got the pork, which I've drained the marinade through a colander and blotted it dry with paper towel. This is critical. Next, our diced onion, both scallion cuts, my cilantro, the ginger garlic mix, chopped pineapple, and cashews. This is optional, but I really love cashews and couldn't resist throwing them in there. I've got oil heating in pans, and I'm ready to move this operation over to the stovetop. We don't want to crowd the pan with the pork, so I'm going to cook this in 2 pans so we can get a good sear on it. And even though I did strain that marinade, some juices accumulated in my pan, so I took a minute and spooned out the juice so we can get a good little crust on the pork. Once the pork is browned, you can combine the pans. Then we're going to add the onions, give it a stir around. After that, we'll add our scallions, give it another stir. Next, we'll add the cashews if you're using them, then mix them into combine. After that, we're going to clear a space in the center of the pan, and we'll add that ginger and garlic mix in there with a splash of oil. We'll let that cook in the center of the pan for a moment, and then we're going to go ahead and mix it all together with the other ingredients until everything is well combined. Last step, we add the sauce. And then one final mix, and we're done. We're going to let this sit to thicken, and now it's time to mix our coconut ginger rice. My coconut rice is finished, and I added that to a large bowl. We're going to break it up a little bit and get rid of the clumps. And then after that, we're going to add that fresh ginger in there. Just make sure you spread this out well and it gets mixed and incorporated evenly with the rice. Once the rice has been mixed around with the ginger, we're going to add some scallions in there as well and give it another mix around. I'll put some of the coconut ginger rice in 1 serving bowl and the pineapple pork butt in another. And it did get a little messy around the edges, so I cleaned it up with a napkin. And then I topped the pork with the pineapple chunks. After that, I garnished it with some of that fresh chopped cilantro, which is optional. And let's take a closer look at this big bowl of delicious. Now I need to make my pineapple pork butt bowl. Got a couple scoops of my coconut ginger rice, some pineapple pork butt, spoonful of pineapple for the top, and you know I want those scallions and cilantro on top as well. And now it is definitely time to eat the bite. I love the sweet and savory flavors of this with that saltiness of the soy, tempered by the sweet pineapple, and that coconut ginger rice was absolutely incredible. And I also just love that extra little freshness of the scallion. If you enjoyed this video, you should definitely like and subscribe on YouTube because it really helps my channel. And that's all for now, guys. As always, you'll find this and all the printable recipes over on my website at eatthebite.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.